What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we have finally had an opportunity to play Revenant all weekend long. And let me tell you what, Revenant 2.0 is here, and he is finally as good as he was promised to be. The buffs have made a huge difference, and I've got some gameplay, some fresh gameplay, never seen before off stream that you guys are going to love. And we're going to talk about these buffs, the changes, why he's that good, and whether you can see him in competitive, whether it's worth investing your time to start maining Revenant, because I think there's a lot of potential there. And I'm going to show it off. I'm going to talk about it. We're going to describe it. We're going to help teach some of the things you may have trouble with, because I actually played Revenant all the way through the first season of Ranked. He's the only character I played in Ranked first season. I really invested time into getting better with him. So I think you're going to find a lot of value in this video. So leave a like if you do enjoy it, if you want to learn these things, or if you just want to know the general state of Apex Legends. We're going to be chilling, talking about that and all the changes that went on. But I'm very excited that the Season 4 Legend is now legit. He's now legit with these buffs. It's crazy, guys. It is crazy. Cannot wait. So those just checking in, by the way, welcome. You guys saw the Gen G stinger. Big shout out to Gen G, the org I'm partnered with as well. Want to show them some love. But I also want to show you guys some love. But you guys are messing up. What do I mean by that? I've offered to give 100 coins, and I've run 2 different giveaways, $100 worth of Apex coins, and nobody has responded. The 2 winners have not responded. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. I've given them a week each. Kevin and By the Pixel, you've both been given a week to respond. Now, that week has been over, but today, maybe you just watch my YouTube videos. Just today, I'm going to tell you, respond to me today on socials, on Instagram, on email. I've done both of those to you guys, and if you do, I will give you these coins. If not, tomorrow on my Instagram, I'm going to make a post, and I'm going to pick a new winner from that post. Got to be following, got to like the post. So Instagram at Rainday Gaming. In case these guys don't respond, I'm going to give one away tomorrow and one away the next day. So $200 worth of coins on my Instagram starting tomorrow. So hopefully they respond. I really wish they do. They earned it. It's kind of crazy to have gotten it. Don't let it go by, guys. You don't want to be like, oh my God, that was me. I was the Kevin. Yes, you were the Kevin. If you think you were the Kevin, you might have been the Kevin. All right, go ahead and hit me up on Instagram so we can keep on growing and keep this thing moving. I want to give you guys these coins. Let's go. New event. All right, so let's talk about Revenant. The Revenant changes were big, and people were obviously discouraged about Revenant. And you can see here, there's a lot of changes off the bat visually that you can notice the way that I'm using my tactical. But let's get into the nitty gritty, and then we'll talk about how each thing is better or worse than what we would have expected after reading it. And I'll tell you whether it exceeds my expectations. Let's talk about the player feedback. They said Revenant wasn't feeling viable enough and has been loud and clear, and the game data also showed that. Our goal is to bring his effectiveness up to parity with other legends. So they increased his silence, which is his tactical ability, the one he throws with his left hand, and they allow that to go from a duration status effect from 10 seconds to 20 seconds. Now, they also have the silence disabling Gibraltar's gun shield, which is a high-level kind of meta change, because Gibraltar is a pretty high-level legend when that gun shield is really taking effect, so it'll cancel that. They also increase the duration of area of effect from 5 seconds to 10 seconds, meaning when you throw it down on the ground and you have a chance for people to run into it or be hit by it, it will stay there for an extra 5 seconds versus the 5 seconds it used to last. That's been doubled. And so is the time that when you get hit by it, you have to spend without any ability. So it's really strong. And with 2 charges now, you're essentially multiplying the impact that you can have by 2, right? Because normally you would have only had to deal with one of those instances. You now have to deal with both. You might be hit by both. It's a pretty ridiculous opportunity for him to hold space. And these are the things I want to talk about right now. There's a huge aspect to these changes that has helped him offensively, but also helped him defensively and able to hold down areas, and maybe has put him in a role. I've been trying to set up some things to talk about this video, like where is he going to fit high level? Whose spot is he going to take? Watson, Gibraltar, what is he? I think he does have some defensive capabilities. Not sure if it's up to Watson's standard yet, but let's talk about the low profile. Low profile has been removed. I know a lot of people complained about that, and it's a big deal. 5% extra damage to a character that's this big, there's really no need for that. So they removed that. So in general, he's going to feel like he survived fights more often just because of that. And especially with the additional low profile, basically buff they gave that, which means that you are now going to take low profile damage across your body and your legs. So leg shots used to count less than body shots. They will now do the same amount as if you get a body shot. And so you're going to get more damage consistently against you as a low profile legend like Watson, like Lifeline. And so this is going to hurt them a little bit as far as their statistics, bring them down, have more damage being done against them on average. Now, let's talk about, so those are the buffs. That's the first thing we wanted to do to set it up. Those are the changes. And playing with them, they feel fantastic. You'll notice a little bit of L-Star gameplay as well here, guys. And this is one of my other videos. I cannot wait to do something about this because I think this is a weapon to look out for. But yeah, the L-Star action here, the G7 Scout, get a little kill with that. The second thing is you're looking at these Mirages. Maybe a buff will come forward. You're looking at these Bloodhounds, cool. But who do we talk about? Is this legend now better than Watson or Pathfinder or Gibraltar or Wraith? And that's really in the high level where I think there's a question mark. I don't think he's necessarily better than any of those. He was last in my tier list this month when I made him, and I don't think he can be last at all. In fact, I almost called this video an emergency tier list update because Revenant is definitely not last. He's middle tier. He's probably better than everyone else except those 4 on the list, plus maybe Crypto. His ability to play make is pretty huge right now, and I think pros are actually going to give him a try, and who knows if they come up with different ways to win. Remember, we saw the Caustic fit in ways where we thought that's impossible, but it really worked well in Europe. It's going to take a good team to execute with Revenant, but I think there are a lot of good teams out there, and they'll be able to do it if they try. But I still don't think he's going to beat these 3 traditional compositions that we've seen, which is a Watson, a Wraith, and a Pathfinder, or a Watson, a Wraith, and a Gibraltar, or a Watson, a Gibraltar, and maybe if you want to run a Pathfinder, no Wraith, just give you some mobility. Maybe your entry fragger, maybe you like to play a little bit more safely throughout most of the game, and of course the Caustic has interrupted that kind of meta right there. So will Revenant fit? Here's three compositions I could see maybe working. Watson, Wraith, and Revenant. A lot of defensive utility. You have the mobility from Wraith late game circles. You have the option from Watson to hold down an area, shield up a building. You have Revenant, who's able to kind of play that mid-range role of support, utility, silencing enemies, being aggressive, giving them both second lives as well. You can kind of set up in your generator room, throw your pylon fences into an area, throw your Revenant ultimate, and then run out. Leave your room pretty defense with pylons so people still don't want to push it. Fight, you get killed, you go right back into your room with your ultimate and with your fences set up. That could be a nice little play that people try to maneuver. Or maybe you're on high ground, put the Revenant ult, you have the Watson ult up top, and then you drop low ground, you get killed, boom, you jump back to high ground. That could be something that I think could maybe work out with Revenant and Watson. But with no Watson, let's say he takes the place of Watson. Maybe you have a Wraith and a Pathfinder and a Revenant. You have a ton of mobility. My only issue is you got some bigger hitboxes with Pathfinder and Revenant. You got some issues, I think, with defensiveness right there, but you do have a ton of mobility, and you have some decent utility for when they want to get aggressive. Say Revenant tries to silence a team, Wraith and Pathfinder both get aggressive, and they grapple onto them. Maybe they just rush into them knowing they've got an Into the Void if they want to get out. It's just, let's jam. And it could be a pretty decent team, especially one that's hard to stop if you add that Revenant ultimate as well. And we'll talk about the change to the ult, which is one of my next points that I want to get into here in this video. The third one is maybe Wraith, Gibby, and Revenant. When you look at this composition, it feels like you're kind of doing the Wraith, Revenant, Watson, Wraith, right? But you're just putting Gibby in there instead of the Watson to give you that dome, and of course to give you a little bit more of the utility from the shield. Now, I don't necessarily think either one of those is going to be better. It's going to be a little bit more preference, but I do think these are combinations that people may try out. I just don't know if they'll succeed, and I think when you look at it, it will depend on, does this person feel confident playing Revenant? And it's going to take some time for these changes to take effect. Even though I think right now, if you hop on the train, you'll be able to succeed while playing Revenant. I think it's going to take a second for pro players to feel confident enough to bring it out in a scrim. We may not see it next week in the competitive tournament, but we might, so stay tuned for that. Okay, the third thing about this thing is the ult. The third point I want to make is the ult is a huge deal. Now, the ult used to be where you have 1 health when you come back, and having played that in that dynamic, it is very, very difficult to feel like you can use your ult and be aggressive. Remember, when he looked so cool in that trailer, and everybody really loved seeing Revenant, it was partly because he felt like he was invincible. Like, you couldn't kill him, and even when you killed him, he was back to life. And unfortunately, when you killed him with his death totem the way it was, he was really dead. Like, he couldn't go fight because he had 101 health, and if you did anything more than 100 health, he was basically dead. You know what I mean? He was over. All the shield came off, and that's hoping you have a level 4 shield. So the change to get 50 health really helps him to be more aggressive, and it helps his teammates too, and everyone plays off it so much. You talk about that extra 49 health that you're getting for you. but it's for your teammate. And then for your other teammate, it's an extra 150 health they may have to burn through in the totality of a fight, which is a big buff when you look at it competitively, not just in the individual play. Like, most people don't think that way. They think, oh, okay, I got 49 extra health. It's all three of you. They get 49 extra health if you use this ultimate, which is really where the big aspect of it is. There's still the counterplay to being able to kill it, and so I don't think it's something that you're going to see invincible at high levels, just like Watson's ultimate gets destroyed at high levels. In Revenant, he's still got to charge his. He doesn't get one back every time he uses one ultimate accelerant. You know, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see, but I think overall it has played out perfectly. Like, to me, I feel like I throw this ult down and I go get into the thick of things, and I feel like I'm not going to die. You know, I feel like it's a huge change, and I want to know what you guys think about it in the comments below. But single-handedly, I love his silence. Great to have two, because you were missing a lot of them, I think. Not you specifically, just people. But I really do believe that the ultimate is probably the biggest quality of life change that he received, and I feel like this is a big step up for the decision-making around this character, and why he's finally as good as he looks. He is now a legend that you can go in aggressively with teammates and play a little bit of that stealth game. His passive now fits even better with him, because you can get aggressive or you can get stealthy. And I've killed a lot of people crouch walking or crouch healing, saved my life because I'm moving faster than if I was walk healing with Revenant, and it's just a big difference. And so this legend is starting to have the total package, I think, of really playing him with a unique playstyle and being effective. The other thing, let's talk about number 4. The damage from his silence. It's now a meaningful thing to consider. Now remember, it's 10 seconds, right? It's 20 seconds of a silence. It's 10 seconds lingering on the ground, but it's 10 damage. And that 10 damage starts to mean a little bit. The reason I say that is because, you know, how many fights do you end in Apex Legends where you look back at the spectate screen, you just got killed, you did a crazy 1v1, all of a sudden you look back and that guy's getting that syringe off and he was like this much health. Well, with Revenant's tactical, that's that much health. It's 10 health, it's 15 health, and now if you put 2 down, in quick succession, it's 20 health they weren't expecting. A lot of fights are that close, one shot away. But they get away, they use their abilities, blah, blah, blah. It not only helps you to stop the ability they would have used, but it also really helps you to get that extra little bit of damage to finish somebody off. And that extra 10 in your kit, I'm telling you, it plays in a way where you feel like I am much more reliably hitting this damage, and now this damage is a little bit enough to maybe push me over the edge in some fights that I wouldn't have been able to do. It's actually very beginner friendly, and it's one of the things that I'm very happy about that Revenant has. He has some tools now that can be very good for beginners and newer players who want to get involved and try a legend who maybe is more of this style, not just, you know, lifeline and just heal people and kind of drop a care package and say, all right, man, I'm on Wraith. Let me carry you. Get out of here. Your package is off. I don't care about you for another 5 minutes, right? So really good stuff there. I think that's a big deal, something to pay attention to. Use that silence for damage if you need to get put over the edge in your gunfights. Okay, number 5, yeah, Watson. She is still a bit of a counter with her pylon stopping his silence, and the way Revenant plays, stopping people from doing things is one big aspect, but again, he doesn't bring any team-wide utility as far as maintaining area, as far as recharging shields like Watson does, as far as providing more heals. What he does is he allows you to kind of have that second little half-life, which in my opinion is very, very good, but it's susceptible, it can be destroyed, and it's not perfect. And so I do think that you're going to see some issues when you look at Revenant trying to fit in right now to the traditional narrative of how you play the competitive scene with a Watson. And I think we look at things like Watson and you say that interception pylon, you know, I throw my silence, it gets destroyed. All grenades, all things, the caustic grenade, the Nox caustic gas grenade, it gets destroyed too. She's an ultimately very, very strong legend. And it's one of the only things when I look at when I say, why would people play her? It's because she's just got something in her kit that makes other players have to respond to her versus her ever having to respond to other players. Does that make sense? Like, the onus is on the Revenant player to be so good to outplay that Watson ult with all of his abilities versus the Watson having to do anything to really outplay the Revenant except just exist. And that's how you know, like, where the power dynamic is as far as picking legends and legend value. When a character has to just be themselves and you have to play around them versus a character who has potential to do great things, but you have to do all those great things every single time you play it. Otherwise, by default, you'll probably lose. So that is really one of the biggest things that you could see. What concerns me, despite all these great things about Revenant, what concerns me about if he'll really be able to take a top 4, top 3 spot. But I think everything else as far as his own kit has been put into a position to where he could be considered a top 4, top 5 legend. Definitely. from 12 to top 5 in one buff. Pretty dang strong, guys. So let me know what y'all think about that, because I've heard a lot of people saying Revenant's great. Oh, maybe this isn't enough on Revenant. What would you like to see if you do need to see something else? Because to me, this is everything that I've needed to see for Revenant to show his true potential as a legend. I think I've already gotten probably like 100 more kills than I would have actually gotten playing the old Revenant. It's just so much better. I can't even describe it here. And as you've seen in this video, there's been a lot of moments I've been using these abilities to actually get out of situations, whether it's another ult, whether it's a second silence. All of these things really make sense as he does a little, you know, Naruto judo chop there. And the other big thing about this is I get hit right at the edge. Is that you could use this as a little poke. See, look, I get, what, 90 damage off with this G7 Scout, and I get shot again, but it's only one shot. I'm making the most of this life, which, again, it has a lot of value for me. They're trying to finish me off. Another, what, 130 damage off of that, and they only technically got 50 off of me. That is really where I think you could play Revenant to be smart and successful. If that's every person playing that ult, and we're all getting 150 damage off, we're trading 300 damage to the enemy team, and we're only getting 100 damage to ourselves. We only have to use 2 syringes, 1 med kit to really make that happen. And you can tell that this is a really big advantage for players and professional players who start to utilize it that well. One thing that I'm also wanting to show you guys and showcase is that the L-Star is banging. It takes a while to get it, but it's something I want to talk about in another video because it's one of the weapons I've been really trying to experiment with. And I just have to say, I'm going to lead you with this. It was a care package weapon for a reason. It was. But it's not as easy to use. It's not as impactful as you might think it is right off the bat. But let me tell you that when you get used to hitting this thing, the damage potential, the poke potential, the strength of it, yo, do not sleep on this. Do not sleep on this weapon. So right now, before the next couple of videos, see if you want to pick up that L-Star. Go into your games, and if you see it over a Havoc, maybe just select it. See what you can do. I don't know why she doesn't get silenced there. We'll have to talk about that one. We'll have to figure that one out, but you guys can see the damage. Looking at the clutch, hit the L-Star, looking to go and get the reheat off. 23 bullets to get the job done. 19, she's one shot away. Oh! No! It hurts, y'all. It hurts. Oh, but I'm glad I got this video. And I'm glad you guys got to see some L-Star and some Revenant content. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like if you liked the video, the gameplay, and the conversation. Comment down below what you want to see from me next this week. And, of course, subscribe to Instagram at RainDayGaming in order to maybe win 100 coins tomorrow. And then the next day if Kevin and By the Pixel don't answer. All right, guys. Love y'all. Never give up. Never stop gaming. I'll see you all next time. Hope you're doing well in the quarantine, man. Big love to all you and the family. Everybody watching, thank you, guys. And big love to you all right? I know it's not easy sometimes right now, but stay honest, stay hopeful, stay truthful, and just do your best. One step at a time. We're all dealing with it. Peace.